So Onslaught's a couple of weeks old now, and people have started seeing what the best builds are, character selection, supers, abilities, yada yada. But something I don't see people talk about, or very rarely that it's talked about, is specific weapons that shine way more than other weapons in Onslaught. And today I want to talk about one of those weapons, that weapon being Xenophage. Now, Xenophage is probably something most people write off as that weapon that I see in Gambit every match I play, because that's all people use with unlimited heavy bricks to kill people in 2 shots. And, well, I mean, you got a point. That's where most of the time you'll see a Xenophage. But in Onslaught, it actually is criminal how good it is. Now, first stating the obvious, Xenophage is a solar weapon, therefore it just goes great in general with solar builds this season, which are by far the strongest, thanks to the artifact that we have with all the solar-oriented artifact perks. Now, Xenophage also can have a ton of ammo reserves in it, up to 34 if you have reserves on your chest piece. That alone is pretty good in terms of ammo economy when Onslaught is basically a big horde mode until you get to the boss fight. And despite it not being the best DPS weapon in the game or anything like that, Xenophage is still serviceable against yellow bars, champions, and the like with its deep ammo reserves and decent damage. Now here's the kicker. It holding 34 shots between its mag and reserves isn't even the best part. That's just the icing. Now you take this information and the fact that it's pretty good in the waves of Onslaught already, and then you go to your boots and you put on 2 solar surge mods for the weapon damage since it's solar, and then in the 3rd slot you put in a harmonic scav or a solar scav, whichever you want, and then this way you will now pick up bricks and then get back anywhere between 9 to 16 shots per single brick. 9 for when you have scav bricks on the floor, and then 14 to 16 when you have a regular ammo brick that you pick up on the floor. That's for just 1 brick, 1 scav or 1 brick, and you got all of that ammo back. It is absurd. So you take that info, and then you combine it with builds like Orpheus Rig Hunters, for example, where you can just tether down entire mobs, and then everything explodes in maybe 2 to 3 shots, and then you have a brick just from killing that wave of ads on the floor. You can now waste another 10 shots on whatever you want, bosses, majors, whatever, go to that brick, and then bang, you have all of your ammo back. You didn't need a Cenotap, you didn't need the brick that the game provides near the ADU, you can sustain your own weapon by yourself, essentially. And speaking of sustaining your own ammo, this would be a good time to remind you that if you want to check out Xenophage in Onslaught, make sure in your helmet that you put in a Siphon mod for, Solar Siphon or Harmonic Siphon if you're on a Solar subclass, and then 2 copies of Heavy Ammo Finder, just to make sure that you're getting ammo as consistently as possible. Also, if you're playing with a pre-built fire team, like with your friends, make sure that they have Heavy Ammo Scout on their helmet. That way, when they get a brick to drop, you will also have ammo for yourself on the ground. Now, I do want to mention that, again, like I said, it's not the greatest DPS weapon in the game. It is still good to take into Onslaught boss fights in terms of ease of use. What I mean specifically by this is that some of the bosses in Onslaught are annoying in how much they move around, or in the case of, let's say, the Fallen, you have the Vandal, or in the Hive, you have the Wizard. They move around an F-ton, and they're also slim targets, so if you're not used to using things like rocket launchers, or snipers, or linears, and you consistently are missing your crits, or you're just straight up missing your rockets, something like Xenophage falls in very easily into this situation, where you don't need to aim for a crit, you just need to kind of hit in the general direction of the boss, and most of the time it'll hit and still do full damage. And of course, the 34 shots that Xeno can hold also play a part here. Let's say you're at a level 40 wave boss on Legend Onslaught, and maybe you don't outright kill that boss. You can save maybe the last 5 shots of Xenophage to go kill the yellow bar in the arena, which will then give you a rift spark thing, and then you charge the spark, and you go to the rift, dunk it, and then that'll do a ton of damage to the boss as well. So either way, it's effective in helping you somehow. Oh, and one more thing while we're on the subject of bosses. You know those annoying, gigantic Metal Gear Solid Brigs that you can fight if you have the Fallen variant in Onslaught? Xeno, similar to Rockets, just doesn't care about these enemies having no crit exposed for the first 50% of their health bar. You can just shoot them down, eventually the cage will fall, and you can either still pound them with Xeno, or at that point you can take out a precision weapon to help you out there as well, like let's say Izanagi or Supremacy. Now, I have one more tip for Onslaught and using Xenophage if you want to try it out for yourself, and that is, please, for your own sanity, make sure that you put a loader mod on your gauntlets, because, oh my god, this thing loads slower than a dying snail. Additionally, you could also bring an exotic or an ability that will reload for you. For example, Hunter Dodges can just reload your weapon, or you have Actium War Rig on Titans, it will kind of reload it for you, is slowly building it back up, or like Rain of Fire Boots on Warlocks that will auto-reload it for you as well. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. We're trying to hit 40k or maybe 50 before final shape. We'll see. But yeah, if you have any questions as well, you could leave that in the comments below, and, you know, leave a like while you're down there, too. That helps as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Goodbye.